How are you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to thank you for being here at the race. As you heard Ray talk about, he's going to give you a lot of information. So we're not telling you to get your pen and paper out and take notes because there's going to be a test later, but you never know. There might be a test. Who knows? But what I can tell you this, folks, we would not be here if it wasn't for some special people. First, Genesee County. We like to thank them for allowing us to be here at the races. They helped put this on. Genesee County, Explore Flint, and Genesee County. If you haven't been here, if you're here as a tourist, or if you're visiting, make sure you see all the vendors, you see all the people in town, you go to the stores, the hotels. Tell them you're here to watch the boat races so we can put this on again. It's a great thing to let the community know we're here for the boat races, and we appreciate the community for letting us put these boat races on. It's always a big deal for us to get the community involved, because without a community, we don't have racing. Without boats, there's no race. So the community helped the boats get here, and that's what it's all about. So we thank Genesee County. Hey, these boats are big. These boats don't just get put in the water like we do our bass boat or our pontoon boat, where we just drive in on the dock and there it goes. They have to be craned in. Some of them boats are about 3,000 pounds. So they get lifted in by cranes. You could possibly see the pits on the other side of this tree, on the other side of me, and they're being craned in by some cranes. It's CJ's Dock and Hoist Service. They're out there helping us, and they're putting in the cranes and stuff like that, and just having a good old time. We'd also like to say the Lake Erie Electric Company, they were a great sponsor too. They help put things together here. Appreciate all of them and all the other sponsor. Green is great for their sponsorship also. We appreciate them for coming in and helping out also. Those are some here local, but the Genesee County, we'd like to really thank you and you fans for being here today, because that's the most important thing to us. That's why I always say the best for last. Thank you for being here today. We hope you enjoy the races. We hope that you get to see something you might have never seen before. If you're an old fan from the old days, we hope we're bringing back some nostalgia to you and get you to see something that may have been missing in your life for a little while. You know, I remember watching videos of the boat races in the 80s around the United States, and they were huge. Huge grandstands, big boats. Well, folks, we want that back, and if it wasn't for you, the fans here today, coming to watch these races, we will not get there. So we appreciate every one of you here. So enjoy the races, and hopefully later you'll be able to talk to some of the drivers. I can tell you right now, if you see some guys like down here in front of me wearing headsets and got some shirts on that looks like they're all logoed up, and they got a headset on, that might be part of a race team. Some of the race drivers got communications on the shore with their team. It is not disrespectful to walk up to them when their team's not racing, like right now, and ask them questions and say hi. That's part of the racing. In fact, we got the TKO team standing right here. They can answer questions about their boat, who they are. They're Michigan Family Racing, so you might want to come talk to them, folks. So come down and say hi, shake their hands. Some of the drivers' teams, their pit crews are going to be here on the side. You'll see them. They'll have headsets on. Talk to them. They're not afraid to talk. In fact, I found out that they can talk a lot, especially about boat racing, and they're not afraid to have you ask them a question. So come on down and ask them a question if you want to. Bring the kids. Let the kids shake their hands. Maybe later you might get some drivers in the area asking some questions. Maybe they'll even sign an autograph or two and a picture if they have them with you. So just hang in there, folks. We see some movement on the other side of some vehicles. We might have an ambulance, and we might be going boat racing. What do you think about that, Ray?
So let's go ahead and start.
Okay, Kevin, as we wait for the ambulance to get into position, I'm going to give you the competitors in the first heat. We have the Y2 Orange Crate, which is owned by Chris and Valerie Ritz of Rochester/Cadillac, Michigan. They have a home up in Cadillac and in Rochester Hills. Their driver is Mark Webber. You might have heard about Mark Webber, who's driven everything and won about 15 national championships. He's driven in the unlimited class and actually won a couple of races. And you've probably heard of a boat named Miss Budweiser. He drove the Miss Budweiser for part of one season and actually won a race for the Budweiser team. So not only do you have people that are just starting out and getting started in this class, you've got a former 15-time national champion that's also driven in the Thunderboats, driving one of the boats. That's Y2, the Orange Crate. Second up is Y40, Double OT. They're based out of Kettering, Ohio. Number 3, there's going to be 3 boats in this class. A boat called Knockout Grime, which is Y52, and that's driven by Sean Bowser of Cisco, Illinois. So you got 3 top competitors in this class. It's a small field, but it's going to be very competitive.
Wow, 3 boats in this race, folks. 3 boats that can go side by side and do some side-by-side racing. So we're happy to have them here today, and I believe we'll be on the water soon with them racing. So just hang in there, folks.
Well, for the fans along the shoreline, just talk to the referee. Those orange markers mark the inside of the race course. If you notice in going into the turn, there's a yellow marker, and that's what's referred to as the entrance pin. At the other end, you'll notice another yellow marker. That's called the exit pin. That's the beginning and end of the turn. It's what we're running today is a 5 laps on a 1 mile race course. So it's going to be fast and furious and very competitive here. This is a beautiful body of water. We feel, we wonder why we haven't been out here before, but we're so pleased that you guys are here to join us, and we're going to do this thing together. But they're putting the boats in the water, and once again, we have the Y2 Orange Crate, Y40 Double Overtime, and Knockout Grime from Cisco, Illinois. Getting ready for the countdown pretty soon. One of the things that I failed to mention is at the start-finish line, we have some triangular buoys that are checkerboard. There's a countdown clock. And back in the old days, we used to have a 5-minute gun, and I think because of environmental reasons, we don't fire the gun anymore, but there's a 5-minute gun and a 1-minute gun. And the flag man that's down here, Ron Albee, who's from a racing family, he's doing the flags for us today. When the 5-minute goes off, he'll deploy a green flag, and with just like in car racing, with When the 1 minute gun gets deployed, a white flag will come out indicating 1 lap to go before the start of the race. So as confusing as this is sometimes, there is a method to our madness here. So if I don't confuse you enough and you pay attention, I think you'll actually learn to enjoy this. So watch the flag man at the starting line. He'll indicate where we are on the start. And the final lap of a heat, he'll deploy the white flag also. It's the similar thing for car racing. The final lap is designated by a white flag.
Stays against the shore and goes at idle speed. I don't have a problem with that, do you?
How's Ray doing? Are you stressed?
This is a typical day for me.
Oh,
Stressful.
okay. Oh, all right.
My life is like 5
Few hiccups.
one pound bag. It's always like that. There's never any peace in my world.
Buddy, you gotta find that.
But who has any peace in their world? We're getting ready for the countdown.
Okay, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. Stand by for countdown. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 to the 5. 1 to the 5.
Maybe the microphone's too close to the speaker. That's why it's all on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. There's 1 to the 5. That means it's 1 minute before the 5-minute clock will start, and then they'll see boats can leave the pits in 1 minute.
That why those Nancy's not here, so let's
30 seconds.
just here, the ones that are going in the water. So 40, 42, 2. We have 3 votes.
20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 5-minute gun. Green flags on the race course.
Here we go. Here come the boats coming out on the race course. 5 minute has fired. In front of you is coming up the 1 liter modified class. Every boat in every class has a letter prefix, and that letter in front of the number will tell you what class it is. This is a 1 liter modified class, and by modified, most of these boats have snowmobile engines in them, and they're fuel injected. They run fuel for the most part. For a very small motor, they turn out, they run high RPM. They put out quite a bit of horsepower for something this small. If you watch sailboat racing, it's the same kind of theory. This is the 4-minute milling period before a race, and what you do is you go out and see what your competitors got, and a lot of the savvy drivers are trying to set each other up. So we describe it as the games before the start of the race. So there's 4 minutes of this, and believe it or not, there's actually a method to the madness of the guys running around as they do. The object is to hit the starting line. There's a digital clock here at the starting line, and the object is to hit that thing at 0 before, if you get there before it hits 0, you've jumped the gun and you're going to be penalized. So the idea is to hit the start line, like right here, at speed. I think what the guys are doing is they're kind of sticking together to see what each other's going to do here. We're running down the clock. Let's see where we are at the countdown here. We're at 1:33. At the 1 minute mark, there will be a white flag go up. And as discussed at the drivers' meeting, you have to pick a lane, but you have to hold that lane to the start-finish line, and you have to establish at the exit pin of that turn. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, the guys are lining up, and we're 37 seconds from the start of the race. Here's where the games start going. Looks like the orange crate, the Y2, is chosen the inside lane. Sometimes the inside lane isn't the hot setup to be. If you're running lots of RPMs and you're on the outside, and as long as you don't go too wide, you can actually make a great start from the outside. So being on the inside isn't always the deal. We've got the Y40, double overtime. There. Okay, the Y40, double overtime in the lead. Close on his trail is Mark Weber in the orange crate. Sean Bowser making a start here from Cisco, Illinois. Mark is making his move in the orange crate. The blue and yellow boat has a short way around the race course, but it looks like Mark Weber in the orange boat has the high RPM. It's 5 laps around this 1 mile race course. Mark Webber has stretched out his lead quite a bit. He pretty much needs to just hold serve here in this heat. At the conclusion of 2, it's the orange crate, double OT, and here comes completing 2 laps. Sean Bowser in the knockout grind from Cisco, Illinois. Coming up to the conclusion of 3 laps, 2 more to go. Double OT from Dayton, Ohio, running second. Conclusion of 3. As you watch the flag man, he's up with the white flag indicating that it's the start of the final lap, 5 laps. You know, if you listen to sports, sometimes they refer to a sporting match as a boat race. Well, this is a boat race. He pretty much had the field covered. A comparison in a baseball game would be like a 6-0 deal. So it looks like Sean Bowser completing his 4th lap. And here we go. Here's the winner coming up to the start finish line. Mark Webber driving the Y2 orange crate. Second place from Kettering, Ohio, the double overtime, the Y40. Third place from Cisco, Illinois, Sean Bowser finishing up. Well, Kevin, we got 1 in the books here.
Yeah, that's 1 for you. 1 in the books, folks. Yes, indeed, we do. That's beautiful racing. Now, y'all might say, I told you there were going to be some fast boats on the water, right? Well, they're coming. Don't worry, those boats are pretty fast, but we always start out with some of the smaller boats, the smaller classes, and build up to anticipation when the big boats get on the water. When they come, well, I'm sure Ray will tell you that those engines are ready to roll and they'll be big. And I'm sure they're going to be coming real soon here in a minute. So hang in there, folks. Again, we want to thank Genesee County for putting on this race for us. You know, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. And, you know, you, the fans, coming out and watching the race is a big support to us, too. So all these boat racers really appreciate it. I told you before, if you see somebody in a logo jersey over here or something, looks like these Thompson guys are still hanging out over here. They want to talk to some fans. Come on up and talk to them. If they're wearing a headset, make sure there's not boats on the water racing, but come up and talk to them. They love to talk to you about their boat team.
No. You know Ann Fitzgerald, right?
It's funny, Kevin, because people that are involved in motor sports, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there with your cars or maybe outboard hydroplanes, or we race each other from light to light. You know, this is Genesee County, from what I remember, is a lot of performance people. So we're so thrilled that you're out here joining this, something a little bit different for you out here on Mott Lake. And as Kevin said, it's much appreciation to the Genesee County and their board for trying something a little bit different that we haven't done before. So I hope we get invited back for a long, long time. And Kevin, coming up is the first heat of 2.5 liter stock. 2.5 liter stock is exactly what it is. All the boats use a 2.3 liter Ford 4-cylinder engine. They use pump gasoline. It's actually, if you follow Sports Car Club of America Racing, they used to have, and I think they still do, a class that was referred to as Formula Ford. So this class is basically a Formula Ford class. 2.3 liter overhead cam that you would get in a Ford product over the years. And something that small actually does a heck of a job. And in fact, this is one of the most competitive classes in American Powerboat Association. Coming up for the first heat is the S92, the S49, the S2, S64, and the S9. And I'll give you details on who they are and where the boats are from. The S9 is a rewinder, and I talked to the owner, who's Greg Barker. This is their 70th year in boat racing, so that's pretty spectacular. The boat is owned by Greg and Liz Barker from Grand Island, New York. Next up is the S49. And the S49 is the Dock Blaster. They're sponsored by Comrust Construction. They're from Rome City, Indiana. Also in this heat, there's 5 boats in this heat. The S92 is a boat called Tenacity. S92 is driven by John Shaw of Seaford, Delaware. So there you go. We've got people all the way from the Northeast, from the Midwest, 2 provinces of Canada. So that's the diversity of inboard hydroplane racing. S2 is Miss Alvy's Signs. That's driven by Dennis Wright, and they're from New Harmony, Indiana. New Harmony is a suburb of Evansville, Indiana, if you know where that is on the Ohio River. S64 is the Blue Devil, and that's owned by Kreitzer Racing, which is Joey, Greg, and Kevin Kreitzer. They're from Dayton and Defiance, Ohio. And Kevin, that's your 5 boats in the lineup for the first heat. You want me to give the lineup for the second heat also?
Well, we'll do that once they get done with this heat so people don't get lost of who's on the water. But, folks, I got to tell you, you know, these boat racers, they race all over the country. You heard where they're all coming from. They're all over the country. I travel all the way from Louisiana, all the way up to Wisconsin, all the way out to Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, all the way out to Oklahoma to watch boat racing. But I could tell you what, they go to a lot of sites, they see a lot of places, and something a boat racer just told us here from this Tenacity team coming up, Miss Fitzgerald sitting down here, she's going to lead her team on the microphone. She gave me a little note here. You see a little note. I didn't write it, folks, so the boat racers are going to tell you this. She said that this site is a fantastic location to race. They love to race this site, and it has the potential to be one of the premier sites to race boats in their circuit. So thank you for having a great race site and having a great amount of fans here today to show these boat racers are very appreciative, and they know what quality looks like, folks. and they are saying that you guys got a quality race course here. How about that, Ray?
Is everybody strapped in and ready to go?
So they're getting them strapped in right now, folks. In a few minutes, we'll have the next boats on the water. And I'll tell you what, if you want to talk to Ann while she's down here in a little bit, folks, she's actually on the beach with her headsets on. But when she comes back up here to go back after this race to talk to her team, you could probably pull her aside. Her team, the Tenacity teams, they race even up in Canada in the HRL series. So you can talk to them all about boat racing on the East Coast. It's a big deal for them. Big deal. I think we're getting ready to have our countdown here in a minute, and they're going to fire the 5-minute gun, I believe, in a few seconds. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're going to do our countdown here, and it's a little confusing as far as the driver lineup, and I'll explain as we get the boats onto the water.
Stand by for countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark 1 to the 5. Dad, I do know how to do this. Please. I don't need 5 people to tell me what to do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I also let you know is these boats will race multiple times a day. So the boats you just saw did what we call the first heat. They're going to come back and do another heat later. Typically, they'll do 2 heats and a final. And in between the 2 heats and the final, we'll take a break, and what we get to transfer our boats out on the water, our rescue crews, and then they get a quick break, and then we come back for the final at the end of the day. So you'll see probably about 3 heats of racing today per each class. So there's a lot of boat racing to watch, folks. Get up close to the shores because they're about ready to come out, folks. Get up to this orange fence and watch this boat race.
3, 2, 1. Mark 5-minute gun. Green flags on the race course.
Well, it's confusing, fans on the shoreline. It's you got 3 brothers that are involved in this heat, these boats in the 2.5 stock. You got Bobby Kennedy and brothers Austin and Kyle. So I'll try to get it straight for you as who's and what. You got the S9 and the S35 TM Special. The S9, the Rewinder from Grand Island's driven by Bobby Kennedy. Doc Blaster. Miss Alvy Signs from near Evansville, Indiana, with Dennis Wright aboard. There will be 5 boats in this heat. That's Bobby Kennedy going by in the S9 Rewinder, Grand Island, New York.
Here he comes.
That was John Shaw in the Tenacity. Alvy Signs. And joining the field is the Blue Devil.
Great, Kevin Creighton. Bobby's in the net.
We got 1 to the 1 minute. 1 to the 1 minute, folks. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already heard, there are 3 brothers racing in this race right now. 3 of them boats out there are family members. 3 of them. Watch out for some deck-to-deck challenges.
And if you look along the shoreline, each team has a radio spotter. So the drivers have radios in their helmets. Okay, the white flag is out, so the boats will be lining up for the start here. Here's where the game start is the guys try to eye each other and try to grab the inside lane. Due to the fact that these are stock motors, the game playing is a little bit more restricted. Pretty much everybody's got similar horsepower, so being on the inside is an advantage. Seconds before the start of the heat. They're all together here. Looks like a good start. Kevin Kreitzer on the outside, leading into the first turn. Let's see who comes out of the wash here. Leading the field is the Tenacity with John Shaw from Delaware. Second is Bobby Kennedy. And on his outside is Kevin Kreitzer. We got a nice duel for second. Got Kevin Kreitzer on the outside, Bobby Kennedy on the inside. Big lead here. John Shaw aboard the Tenacity from Delaware, Seaford, Delaware. The S9, the Rewinder. 64 Blue Devil from Dayton, Ohio. The Dock Blaster from Rome City, Indiana. Alvy Signs. I'm actually surprised that we've stretched out this far after 3 laps. Tenacity, S9, Rewinder, Kevin Kreitzer, 64, Blue Devil. A Dock Blaster in 4th position. 5th place, Alvy Signs, Dennis Wright. Here comes our white flag lap, and your clear leader is the Tenacity from Seaport, Delaware, John Shaw at the wheel. S9, the Rewinder from Grand Island, New York. Final left for the Dock Blaster. LV Signs. And your winner in dominating fashion is John Shaw driving the Tenacity. You know, Kevin, it's kind of a surprise being that the 2.5, there's not a whole lot you can do to these motors. They're fairly stock. And for somebody to stretch out that big of a win, it's quite impressive. Now, having said that, like in NASCAR or IndyCar racing, it's getting the gearing properly. As I learned about 50 years ago, boat racing is about acceleration. The top end is not that important in boat racing. It's your ability to get off the corner with speed is what's important in powerboat racing.
Yeah, and I can tell you.
So you could have a propeller, Kevin, that it's got all the top end in the world that's not going to make it. It's the guy that's got that special propeller that can get off the corners. That's the difference.
And I can tell you at the test and tunes I've seen, and I know this team, the Tenacity, they put a lot of time in on them propellers. They take the data, they write them down, they change the propeller. They write them down, they change it. And I went, why are you doing so much? And I know now why. So they can win.
Back in my day, I used Mercury Marine propellers, and the engineer over there was Dennis Cavanaugh, and I wore out the UPS service, the 2-day delivery when I would send a propeller back just to have them modify it for the next race. So that's the all the work that's done in the garage and in the shop between races. That's fun.
With a hammer and some engineering. That's right. It's a bunch of science involved too, with the lake and the water and the pH levels and the water type, salt, not salt. It's a lot that I've learned over the years.
Well, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention in physics class, because if I knew that I could apply physics to powerboat racing, I might have paid a little bit more attention. So.
Exactly. So note that, folks. Make sure your kids pay attention in physics if they want to race boats, because them propellers and the water and everything else, it's a lot of physics involved in it. And if you don't believe me, just ask some of these boat racers down here that you see on the shore. They'll tell you how much work they do it. They're wearing their jersey. I see the TKO Thompson team here. I see Ann's was down here earlier. She's probably around here somewhere with her headset. There's a couple of teams over here. Just talk to them. They love to talk. They'll tell you all about it.
You know, Kevin, one of the tributes, you know, we used to race on a lot of rivers, and we didn't have the benefit of being on a beautiful lake like Mott Lake. I just talked to the referee, Billy Noonan, and he was telling me that in spite of the wind, there's quite a bit of wind out there today for our kind of boats. And for a 1 mile course, we're only 5 miles off the record. So that's a tribute to what a beautiful body of water this is. And to go out here, so for first time out, that's quite impressive.
So you're telling me boats are going pretty fast?
Well, the thing that people don't understand with hydroplanes, you know, they're 3-point hydroplanes. If you think about it, it's basically a water-bound airplane is what it is. If you get a chance to take a close look at one, it's basically a winged surface with, they call it a 3-point hydro because the pontoons in the front, they call them sponsons. The idea is to have them barely touching the water and half a propeller in the water when you've got a boat that's tuned up. I know years ago, Kevin, I built a hydroplane as a college project, and I didn't do too good. The thing rode very heavy on the surface, and which was the opposite of what's desired. But if you look at an inboard hydroplane or an outboard hydroplane, it's the elimination of the wetted surface. You want as small and as little as touching the water as possible to keep the thing going forward. And of course, if you get it too light, they can go over on you. So we're a lot better at the science of keeping these waterbound airplanes on the water as we speak. Coming up is the second heat of 2.5 liter stock, and we have 4 boats in that heat. It's the S20, 333, 14, and 35. And once again, the prefix in front of a number will indicate what class that is, and the S is the 2.5 liter stock class.
Can you tell the people if on their phone they tune to 98.5, they can hear you, the broadcast, people down at the end?
Our race director, Dave Muziski's got some technical advice for you that might enhance your viewing pleasure. Dave?
All right, thank you, everybody. Just wanted to make a quick announcement, and if you could pass it down the line, that if on your phone or you got a radio, if you tune to 98.5 FM, you'll be able to pick up the broadcast here and probably hear it a lot easier. Just wanted to make that announcement. 98.5 FM. Thank you.
Now we got to make sure that that's a short range radio. It's not long distance, so hopefully a 10-mile range. We're trying to radiate. If it doesn't come in perfect, I'm sorry. We'll do the best, but we've got it up to try to get it better for you guys, so if you're further away from us, you can hear it a little better.
I just work here.
I don't know. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. I haven't done it in 30 years. Yeah, I had the race director announce that because he's a lot more technically savvy than I am. I always tell everybody I'm from the last century. I'm like Mr. Low Tech.
All right, fans, again, thank you for being here. The sun's coming out, so make sure you're hydrating. We don't want nothing happening to anybody. As long as you're getting to watch the boats, we're happy. Anything other than that, we are not happy. So we want you to hydrate, stay safe, have a good time. Come talk to these drivers. I see 2 of them down here. You can talk to this team down here. Hey, kids, young kids, if you want to come meet some drivers and some teams, come on down and talk to them. They're down here by the judges' stand. They're not in the pits. They're here. Come talk to them. You never know who you're going to run into one day. These old guys might have been driving from a long time ago. So come talk to the drivers. They'll be happy enough to talk to you, but no problem. I think we're getting ready to count down the next class of boats, folks, so hang right in there with us.
Stand by for countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark 1 to the 5. 1 to the 5.
5-minute gun is fired.
1 to the 5.
1 to the 5.
Well, a little premature there, Ray, but yeah, 1 to the 5, folks.
As Jim Hendrick, the old Unlimited announcer, used to say, check that.
Check that. That's right. So 1 to the 5 means, you know what that means. In 1 minute, we're going to see boats come out and get ready. They're going to be coming out of the pits within 1 minute, folks.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
And this should be that second heat of the same style boats you just saw. So whether they're Canadian drivers are here or American APBA drivers, they're both recognized as the same class. So if you see an F or an S on the boat, don't worry. That just an F is from Canada and S is from the United States.
10,
That's all.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, 5-minute gun. Green flags on the course.
Now the 5-minute gun is fired. Green flag. And once again, at the start-finish line, we see a 3-panel deal, and that is a starting clock. It's a digital starting clock. vehicles. All the guys are strapped in, and they all carry an air system. And it's a lot more complicated than it used to be, but the safety factor has gone way, way up because of the moves done by the safety committee with the American Powerball Association. And they have onboard oxygen and radios and all that. So back in the Stone Ages when I raced, it was like a lot of, it was basically your watch and your timing. That was it.
Hey Ray, I just found something out. They are not going to rerun this national mod class right now. They're going to do one final in the end of it. So our next boats out on the water are going to be those boats that you may have ridden, those vintage boats.
They were. The tragic part was, you know, they call it the vintage and historic. I remember when those boats were brand new.
Yeah, but you know what I like to call them, Ray? I like to tell everybody, because you really don't understand what you're watching here. I've heard some crazy stories about finding boats that like the Gator boat and stuff, and refurbishing them and finding them in backyards under tarps and stuff. But I like to call them the museum on the water.
It really is.
If you really want to see something, folks, I'm telling you, this next class we got coming up is the vintage class. These boats ran in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, different years you'll see out on the water. They've been restored. Some of them been just kept up to their original condition and maintained. And some of the drivers still driving them that are drivers that'll be in these boats today. But I like to call it a museum on the water. You can't go to a museum and see these boats. You can't drive up and just say, hey, where's these older boats? I want to see them. But here they're going to be out performing on the water for you in an exhibition, the vintage class, and we're going to have a museum on the water. So get ready to see a museum on water, folks.
Yeah, the history, Kevin, was the president of APBA asked Tom DeEath to form the vintage and historic category. And at one point, it was the fastest growing category in American Powerball Association. You know, when we got done racing, we just had a bunch of old boats sitting around, and it's a lot different when they put a value to this thing. And then with Tom DeEath, you know, that's about as historic a name as you can get. Tom DeEath, if you're familiar with the name, he's a three-time Gold Cup winner in the Unlimited category. And Tom won 2 Gold Cups driving Miss Budweiser, and his first Gold Cup in 1976 in Detroit was driving the famous Miss US. But Tom, I talked to him the other day, one of his proudest accomplishments is starting this category.
All right, folks, here comes your museum on the water, and they're going to do 1 minute warm-up, and then they're going to do about 5 laps. But look at those boats.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to the boats out there. We have the J1 Blue Water Special. That's driven by Dean Berry of Petaluma, Ohio. C5, the white boat, probably the oldest boat here, is the White Lightning, owned by Paul Poldink, crewed by Sandy Ross, who was on the Atlas Van Lines Unlimited team back in '72 when they won the Gold Cup with Bill Muncie aboard. And the boat is, the driving duties are shared by John Bridge out of Harrison Township and Steve Fischel out of Macomb, Michigan. So Steve has raced a number of categories, classes in inboard racing. John Bridge is pretty much a boater that decided to get aboard a inboard vintage boat. This is coming up is the boat in front is driven by Mark Cravens of Bloomington, Indiana. That is remember I said to you earlier about the prefix. That's a traditional H, which was called a 7-liter Division 1. And that has a supercharged 7-liter motor with methanol. Mark's wife, Debbie, is driving the Prime Mover, which is the orange boat that's running second. What the vintage guys do, Kevin, is they don't compete. They put in on flybys to, as you said, the museum on the water.
Those engines in your bones as they go by.
That white boat that's trailing is from Collingwood, Ontario, near the Georgian Bay, about 3 hours north of Toronto. That's where that boat was from originally. That's why it's got the CE designation. The Prime Mover is a Henry Lauderback design. The two boats the orange boat and the dark blue boat, cab over meaning the driver sitting in the front. Those are Staudiker designs, and those are designed by John Staudiker, not too far from here in Caucaulin, Michigan, on the Saginaw base. So one of the greatest designers and builders is from right near here in Caucaulin, Michigan. I believe that's Steve Fischel that's driving this go-around on this flight. Yeah, the J prefix in front of the J1 says to you that's a Division 2 7-liter. So we had a supercharged 7-liter class and a stock 7-liter class. The J being the stock 7-liter class. I don't believe those divisions exist anymore. I think they were consolidated into the Grand National Hydro. G&H is the designation. Okay, white flag. One more lap for these guys. Once again, Kevin, that's husband and wife out there. On the inside is Debbie Cravens and her husband driving on the outside in the conventional Lauderback. That's Mark Cravens. It's kind of a family affair. Their daughter has a 2.5 liter stock S-boat from the 70s. And here comes Steve Fischel, and boy, he's got everything he can handle with that thing. Hey, give him a wave. You know who that is, right?
No. That's right. I knew he looked familiar. Yes.
That is Sir Ron.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
I just found out that's Doc Terry's grandson.
Okay, we have
20 seconds. Countdown. Be quiet, please. 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 5-minute gun. Green flags on the course.
Okay, Kevin, 2.5 liter modifieds. The A-boats. In this heat, we've got the TM Special. That's driven by Kyle Hayes. A66, the Miss Bud. The third, that's Turner Racing, driven by David Turner of Lincoln Park. A42, as I said, the U.S. Auto Supply is going to run several different classes, and that's driven by Cassandra Briggs. A20, Mustang Sally, driven by grandson Aiden Wilson. That's the TM Special. Here's the 333 that came in on the tow rope, but he's running a different class, and I'm not sure if they fixed the problem or not. And going by is David Turner and the Mr. Bud number 3. The red boat on the backstretch is Richie Falsinelli that won our last regional race down at Rocky Fork, Ohio. Here comes the live bullet of Richie Falsinelli. David Turner. He's out of Lincoln Park. I think we're going to have 5 boats in this heat. Here comes a live bullet. Remember the difference between the A class and the S class. They're both using 2.3 liter motors, but these boats are a little more sophisticated. They run fuel, and some of the guys have fuel injection or a big carburetor. That's Kyle Hayes and the TM Special going by. There's the 1 minute gun. We're inside of 1 minute to the start of the race. Each one of these teams has a radio person Both David and Richie, who's to your right, looks like they were early on the clock, and they decided to double back. We'll see if they make it to the line in time. We were 25 seconds to the start of the race. We got Kyle, who's captured the inside lane. 15 seconds before the start. Here we go, flying start. 3, 2, 1. That's a legal start. Looks like we have a good one here. Here's Richie pulling up on the outside. It certainly is a live bullet this afternoon. Richie Falcinelli running in first. Second is Kyle Hayes. Coming up on the outside is David Turner from Lincoln Park. Here comes David running the shoreline. The thinking behind running wide is you're able to wind your motor up higher and use your RPMs. So if you got the kind of propeller that can take those kind of RPMs, that might not be the worst place to be, but using a car racing term, looks like track position. It looks like Richie's pulling away here. Yeah, David slid to the inside. Looks like we got a two-bull race. We got Richie Falcinelli in the live bullet on the outside. Mr. Bud 3 on the inside. You gotta be careful here. The wind has picked up considerably. Here's the end of 3. 2 more to go, folks. Here comes Kyle Hayes in third place. Getting a little light down the front chute. Looks like Richie's got his way all the way. If he can keep her going, we're coming up for the white flag lap, final lap. Getting a little light on the front stretch. Last turn for the live bullet with Richie Falcinelli on board. Here comes the checker for Richie Falcinelli. Give him a wave. That's great. He sees you out there. David Turner, they've had trouble all season long, all winter long with that motor, and it's fantastic. He's got it running out here on Mott Lake. And in third place, is Kyle Hayes. That was a good heat. Well, Kevin, just like at Rocky Fork, it looked like Richie had him covered today. But that boat's been fast ever since they acquired it.
Yeah, he's got a fast boat there. There's no doubt about that. That boat can crank up. He's got some prop science going on, I guarantee it. He knows his water, and he's going to race. That's for sure.
Well, you know, it seems like Richie knows one speed, and it's pedal to the metal. And I got to hand it to him. I probably wouldn't drive it that way, but then again, I can't argue with first place, right?
Yeah, exactly. First place in a heat, first place in a race, and first place race after race. I think he does know one speed, and that is fast.
And it's, you probably don't know this, but I know the Turners quite well, and they've struggled with trying to get that motor, and they blew it up last year at Rocky Fork, and they've struggled with getting the parts and the correct parts and the correct machine work and all that. And it looks like they got it running. So I think what it is first 2 laps, he wanted to see what he could do, and he kind of held it together, and then pretty much he wasn't going to chance it after all that effort and all that money he spent to try to keep that thing together.
Yeah, and then there you go. He didn't blow the motor this time. He thinks he's kind of dialed in his foot pedal to be just right.
Right. So
now we got this G and H class. What do you know about a G and H?
to be honest with you, not a whole lot, but they are
big and loud.
They are fun to watch, aren't they?
They are fun to watch. They are big. They are loud. It's our G&H class, folks. Get down to the Orange Finch. You're going to want to see this class also. Their engines are big and loud and will put a rumble in your bones. You'll see them soon. They'll be on the water next.
countdown. Stand by for the countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark 1 to the 5, 1 to the 5. Seconds. Yep. $20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Green flag.
Okay, green flag. The 5-minute gun is fired. Grand National Hydro. These are the big block V8 guys. They make a lot of noise. They go really fast. There's only 3 of them, but don't judge this on the quantity. We have the G&H 64 Summer Dreams, driven by Kevin Kreitzer. G&H 67 Impossible Dream, or for this weekend, he calls it the wife's fridge. So you can figure out what that means. That's driven by John Shaw. Pulling out of the pits, trying to get on plane is G&H 201. Sky High, driven by veteran driver Paul Reed, originally from Canada, but lives in Buffalo, New York at this point. It's working to get that boat up on plane. Here he comes. Yeah, these boats are meant to run up on plane, and he's having trouble freeing that boat up. Yeah, going by was John Shaw driving the Impossible Dream, and as he called it, the wife's fridge this weekend. Really struggling to get that thing up on plane. You run the risk of overheating that engine. The Summer Dreams of Kevin Kreitzer. John Shaw going by. Okay, we're inside 1 minute. 45 seconds to the start of the race. Looks like it's going to be a two-boat duel here. "30 seconds to the start. "10 seconds for the start. 9, 8. As you can tell in this game, the start is everything. Both boats were late to the start by about 5-6 seconds. And somebody with a less powered boat that makes that start can actually steal the race away by starting well. John Shaw with the Impossible Dream, gigantic lead. Here comes Kevin Kreitzer. Grand National Hydro GNH are basically big block V8 engines. Well, looks like we're down to one boat. Okay, he's got it lit up again. Let's see if he can finish this heat. The summer dreams have kind of turned into a nightmare, but all by himself, he's done his part. GNH 67, Impossible Dream, and the Wife's Bridge, driven by John Shaw. Not exactly our best demonstration of what Grand National Hydro can do. When the guys are running at full song at a national event, they're pretty unbelievable to see. It's a must watch. This wasn't a good demonstration to see. I hope we can pick it up in the final heat and in the competition tomorrow. Because, like I said, when they're running great, they're really exciting to watch. Well, Kevin, as Norm Crosby would say, we didn't exactly extinguish ourselves in that race. So
Nah, but you know what? That's something I know about Kevin Kreitzer there. He can start a race. It looks fast, it's great, but if there's a problem, he ain't going to finish. And Greg's his brother who works on them boats. He's going to have to get the wrenches out to get that thing ready for the next heat and the final and for tomorrow if they want to keep running it. But they got 3 boats here today. Who knows what they'll do? Maybe they'll try another one.
Well, Kevin, 2.5 boats anyways.
Yeah, but you got to worry about the driver more than the boat this time. I always give Kevin Kreitzer a hard time. They live really close to me. I get to see them throughout the week doing their regular jobs, landscaping and stuff, and it's always funny to run into them on the road and talk boat racing.
What lens are you using here?
Just a 70 to 200.
200. What's really funny is half the the sporting venues I go to, they always tell me to put my lens back in my car. Yeah. So I have this little Canon power shot point and shoot, right? That when I'm like at a Red Wing game, you know, they've got an 80 millimeter limit, right? But
I've been there.
Mr. Race Director, you ready? Okay, stand by for countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 to the 5. 1 to the 5.
Hey, Dave, for next year, more photos. No, I know. Salvage, sand, and photos. I know it's rough.
30 seconds.
So we'll struggle to get what we can
20 seconds. 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 5-minute gun. Green flags on the course.
Okay. For our fans along the shoreline, this is the 5-liter class, and they're signified by the letter designation E in front of their number. That's Gary Shelfont of Jackson, Michigan in the Flyboy. That was E17, the modern drummer Jeffrey St. Cyr of Marine City, Michigan. That's Carl Adams, Maximum Racing, E323. They're from Medina, Ohio. Gary Shelfont is the defending champion from the Marine Prop Riders local club here, conducting club. That's Cassandra Briggs. Cassandra Briggs driving U.S. Auto Supply, E55. Hold on loosely. Betke Racing. Rob Betke is your driver. These guys run that small block V8. A lot of Midwest boats here. This is Gary Shelfont, Jackson. Cassandra Briggs. Okay, 1 minute inside the 1 minute gun. Boats are lining up and they have to be committed coming off the upper turn here. "25 seconds. Looks like the modern drummer has got a different idea. He's coming up really slow and early. Jeffrey St. Cyr of Marine City. And here comes the rest of the posse. Legacy 1. Right. Way out front is Paul Farber from Ottawa, Ontario, driving Legacy 1. It looked like he nailed that start. Gary Chalfant, second place. Legacy is a whole turn in front of the field. Shows you how important that start is, folks. Let's hold on loosely in third. And the modern drummer. Here comes Cassandra Briggs in U.S. Auto. It's Carl Adams. Yeah, Legacy's got his way today. He's starting to lap the field. Here comes Cassandra in U.S. Auto. Here he is already, coming for his final lap. Legacy 1, Paul Barber from Ottawa, Ontario. Second place, Gary Chalfant. Well, it looks like Gary Shelpon is making a move here. We're going to have a close finish, looks like. Wow, looks like Gary Shelpon's going to get him coming off the turn after leading the whole heat. Here comes Gary Shelpon, your champion. Oh boy. Just well, it just goes to show you could be leading the whole lap, the whole heat, and coming off the last corner. Unbelievable. Must have lost a cylinder or something.
Yeah, he was gunning it the whole way, and then here you go. Right at the last turn. What a sad way for a very fast driver and a very fast boat to end.
Well, the old thing that Jackie Stewart used to say, you got to start before you can finish, and you got to finish before you can win. And Cassandra finishes her 5-liter heat. Yeah, for those along the shoreline, what we're doing is we're swapping out some of the officials. Turn judges are usually drivers or someone that's knowledgeable that's sitting out on the race course to make sure that you don't foul someone out on the race course. And one of the guys that we're switching out is Jimmy King, who's a multi-time Grand Prix champion and drives the Turbinator, the turbocharged Allison Unlimited hydroplane, the U3. I think they call it the Ace Hardware out at Tri-Cities. They only run seemingly one race a year, but Jimmy King, who's gracious enough to not big time us and help us out here, because he never forgot where he came from. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're switching turn judges. So bear with us, folks.